Every parent has felt that quiet, gnawing doubt, the subtle question that creeps in the middle of a sleepless night, whispered between the moments when a child smiles and the moments when a child cries. Am I doing this right? The weight of raising a human life, of nurturing curiosity, resilience, and compassion rests not in grand gestures, but in the sum of daily choices. The breakfast served, the bedtime story read, the patient listening to a child's fear, the gentle correction of behavior, the warmth of reassurance when the world seems too big for tiny shoulders. Dr. Benjamin Spock, one of the most revolutionary voices in modern parenting, spent his life understanding that parents need guidance, not to control, but to empower. His timeless advice, distilled from decades of observation, research, and reflection, reminds us that parenting is less about imposing strict rules and more about shaping a climate of love, understanding, and trust. And yet, the most overlooked detail, the one daily habit parents almost always get wrong, lurks quietly, shaping the lives of children in ways too subtle to notice at first, yet profound enough to echo across decades. This mistake is not a moment of anger, nor a lapse in judgment. It is the daily imposition of pressure to conform, to succeed, to perform according to invisible standards, often borrowed from what parents themselves experienced. Children, as Spock observed, are exquisitely sensitive to tension. They absorb it like sunlight through leaves, small worries becoming shadows in their imagination, minor scoldings crystallizing into self-doubt, silent expectations seeping into their sense of worth. The modern parent, juggling work, screens, and schedules, unwittingly participates in a cycle that teaches children not how to thrive, but how to fear failure. Consider the morning routine. A child still groggy from sleep, a parent racing to meet the demands of work and chores, a rushed breakfast, reminders and corrections piling up like storm clouds. In that compressed time, every "hurry up" and "did you brush your teeth" carries more weight than one might assume. Spock's insight is elegantly simple. The daily rhythm, the small, repeated interactions, matters more than rare moments of perfection. What you say, how you respond, the patience you model, the respect you offer to a growing mind, these are the true currencies of parenting. Spock's advice was never theoretical. It emerged from real families, from listening to children, observing patterns, and documenting outcomes. He warned parents that the cumulative effect of small pressures, rushing, criticizing, undervaluing feelings can shape anxiety, reduce confidence, and interfere with the natural development of curiosity and joy. Children who are allowed space to explore, to fail safely, to experience gentle guidance, develop resilience. Children who are pressured, even subtly, begin to internalize the stress, often manifesting in behavioral issues, sleep disturbances, and even physical complaints. And yet, it is not blame that Spock casts upon parents. It is clarity, a roadmap toward conscious, loving choices. He understood that parents themselves are under pressure from society, work, and their own memories of childhood. By recognizing the one daily mistake, parents can transform the atmosphere of a home from tense to nurturing, from corrective to instructive, from reactive to proactive. Every whispered encouragement, every patient pause, every shared smile builds not just a child's confidence, but a foundation for lifelong well-being. The principle is deceptively simple. Children flourish when they feel safe, seen, and understood. Daily mistakes often arise from well-meaning urgency, not malice. It is the constant pull to fix, to direct, to control outcomes, instead of guiding gently, explaining clearly, and observing patiently. Spock's brilliance was in articulating these patterns, in translating complex psychological principles into advice that any parent from any background could grasp, remember, and apply. Imagine a home where every small interaction carries intention, where the chaos of life does not overwhelm the connection between parent and child, but instead strengthens it. This is the subtle art that Dr. Benjamin Spock revealed, the power of routines, the architecture of daily habits, the invisible scaffolding that supports a child's mind, heart, and body. A child's emotional intelligence is not taught through lectures or admonitions. It grows quietly, in the pauses between tasks, in the careful listening to a question, in the acknowledgement of a fear, in the gentle guiding hand when frustration rises. Spock emphasized that routine is not rigidity, it is rhythm. It is the steady drumbeat of a home that says, "You are safe here, predictable, cared for." Meals at consistent times, sleep patterns respected, chores shared appropriately. These are not mundane tasks, but profound signals that children internalize. They learn trust, reliability, and the subtle art of self-discipline, not from harsh punishment, but from the repeated patterns of supportive caregiving. When a child knows what to expect, they can explore, imagine, and innovate without fear. Nutrition, in Spock's eyes, was never simply about calories or vitamins. It was about respect for the body and the mind. A child nourished with wholesome food, offered not as a command but as a choice within guidance, develops an instinct for balance. Breakfast becomes a moment of connection, lunch a lesson in mindful eating, dinner a time to reflect, share stories, and cultivate gratitude. The parent who rushes, scolds, or forces inadvertently teaches avoidance, rebellion, or anxiety around food. Spock's research demonstrated that mindful engagement with these daily tasks fosters both physical health and emotional resilience. Sleep, that elusive foundation of wellness, is another domain where parents often stumble. How many times does a child struggle to sleep while the parent battles frustration or guilt? Spock's advice is clear. Sleep is sacred for both child and caregiver. Establishing bedtime routines filled with calm, predictable signals, quiet reading, soft lighting, gentle conversation creates an environment where the mind can settle, fears can dissipate, and the body can repair. Children who sleep well are less reactive, more curious, and more capable of empathy. Adults who model and protect this rhythm teach by example that the body and mind deserve care, patience, and respect. The modern parent faces unprecedented challenges: screens, overscheduled activities, societal pressure, even the shadow of comparison. Spock's principles remain timeless. Curiosity must be encouraged, not stifled. Mistakes must be framed as learning, not failure. Individuality must be respected within a framework of gentle guidance. When a child asks a question that seems trivial or repetitive, it is not annoyance that should arise, but curiosity mirrored. The recognition that a growing mind is probing, experimenting, seeking certainty in a complex world. Mindful caregiving, as Spock described, is not a burden. It is an art of conscious presence. It is in noticing the trembling hands of a first grader learning to tie shoes, in celebrating small victories, in responding to emotional outbursts with calm, and in turning daily chores into moments of teaching patience, kindness, and resilience. The daily mistake, rushing, correcting without explanation, over-controlling, vanishes when awareness replaces habit. Communication, too, is a cornerstone. Words are not merely instructions, they are architecture for identity. A parent who listens before speaking, who affirms before correcting, who frames limits with empathy, lays the groundwork for children who can navigate conflict, stress, and disappointment with confidence. Spock's advice reminds us that authority is not dominance, it is guidance, through example, through respect, through consistent values expressed in daily interactions. Even the smallest gestures, a smile, a shared laugh, a moment of patience, carry weight beyond measure. Neuroscience now confirms what Spock intuited decades ago.
Children's brains are molded by experience, by repeated patterns of love, care, and understanding. The one daily mistake, repeated endlessly, leaves traces. The small, consistent choices of mindful engagement, repeated endlessly, build resilience, curiosity, and joy. Parents are architects not just of schedules, but of hearts and minds. The lessons Spock embedded in his writings are as vital today as they were when first published, because human nature, at its core, has not changed. Children crave safety, understanding, and the freedom to explore within boundaries defined by love. The beauty of Spock's wisdom is that it is practical, implementable, and universal. A parent with limited time, with distractions, with stress, can still transform daily routines into lessons of trust, patience, and respect. It is not about perfection, it is about presence. Every repeated interaction, every patient pause, every word framed with care compounds. The child learns not only what to do, but how to think, feel, and navigate life.
Now, imagine a world where the daily mistake, the pressure, the subtle correction without understanding, the rushed mornings and tense evenings is replaced with intention, awareness, and mindful presence. This is the transformation Dr. Benjamin Spock envisioned, a parent fully engaged, a home humming with trust, laughter, and curiosity. In such a space, children do not merely survive, they thrive. They grow confident, resilient, and capable of navigating life's complexities with joy and empathy. Spock's principles, though written decades ago, remain astonishingly relevant in our modern lives. Consider a child struggling to complete homework. Most parents react with impatience, pressure, or criticism. Spock would counsel something radically simple yet profound. Pause, listen, and guide without judgment. Ask questions that invite thinking, not compliance. Celebrate small victories. The act of listening, truly listening, communicates far more than words ever could. I see you. I understand you. I believe in you. The child internalizes this message, building an invisible scaffold of confidence that will support every challenge they face in the future. Daily routines, when executed with intention, become lessons in discipline without rigidity. Morning rituals teach punctuality and self-respect. Evening rituals, filled with conversation and reflection, teach emotional literacy. Meals are not simply nutrition, they are a classroom of mindfulness, gratitude, and connection. Sleep is protected, not as an obligation, but as a sacred opportunity for restoration, allowing body and mind to reset, heal, and grow. The cumulative effect of these small, conscious choices is profound. Children learn balance, patience, and self-efficacy. One of the most overlooked aspects of modern parenting, Spock warned, is the suppression of curiosity in the name of control. Children, when free to ask questions, explore, and make mistakes within safe boundaries, develop a cognitive and emotional resilience that lasts a lifetime. Parents must resist the temptation to provide all the answers immediately, to overdirect, to micromanage. Instead, guidance should be gentle, explanatory, and supportive. The goal is not compliance, it is the cultivation of independent, thoughtful, and empathetic individuals. Spock's advice extends beyond children. It encompasses the entire family ecosystem. Grandparents, caregivers, siblings, and even neighbors contribute to the environment that shapes a child's development. Emotional health is contagious. Patience breeds patience. Empathy breeds empathy. By modeling these qualities, adults provide living lessons in behavior, communication, and moral reasoning. The home becomes a laboratory of humanity, where kindness, resilience, and curiosity are not abstract ideals, but lived experiences embedded in every interaction. Nutrition, exercise, and daily wellness, Spock emphasized, are not optional add-ons. They are inseparable from emotional development. A child fed with wholesome food, encouraged to move, explore, and play, is not only physically healthier, but mentally sharper, emotionally more balanced, and socially confident. Every gentle nudge to eat a fruit,
Every encouragement to run, jump, or climb reinforces the principle that health is a gift, a responsibility, and a source of joy. As the day winds down, parents often reflect on successes and failures. Here, Spock's philosophy is liberating. Perfection is not the goal. Awareness, reflection, and consistent effort are. A child learns far more from a parent who acknowledges mistakes, seeks to improve, and celebrates effort than one who demands flawless performance. This creates an environment where failure is reframed as learning, where challenges are embraced rather than feared, and where the mind is encouraged to grow rather than constrained by anxiety. The true magic of Dr. Spock's guidance lies in the small daily choices repeated consistently. The way a parent responds to frustration, the tone of voice used in correction, the time taken to listen, the encouragement offered for curiosity, these are the building blocks of lifelong confidence, empathy, and resilience. Children internalize these lessons, carrying them forward into adulthood, into their relationships, careers, and personal lives. Parents who implement these principles are not merely raising children, they are cultivating future citizens, leaders, and caretakers of the world. And so, as we reflect on this one daily mistake, the subtle, almost invisible pressure that so many parents unconsciously apply, let us replace it with conscious, intentional engagement. Let us create homes where curiosity is nurtured, mistakes are embraced as lessons, and emotional connection is prioritized above all else. Let us adopt routines that support wellness, nutrition, sleep, and play while maintaining patience, empathy, and mindfulness. Dr. Benjamin Spock's wisdom reminds us that parenting is not about control, it is about guidance, not about perfection, but about presence, not about fear, but about love. Every day presents an opportunity to choose patience over urgency, understanding over correction, support over pressure. Every interaction, no matter how small, is a seed planted for a future of resilience, joy, and confidence. So let this be your call to action. Approach each day as an architect of character, a gardener of curiosity, a protector of health and happiness. Observe, listen, guide, and nurture. Transform your home into a sanctuary where children flourish, parents grow, and family life becomes a continuous living celebration of love, learning, and understanding. Remember, the one daily mistake is not inevitable. It is replaceable. Through conscious attention, emotional intelligence, and the timeless principles of Dr. Benjamin Spock, parents can build lives filled with confidence, resilience, and joy. Let this knowledge transform your daily interactions, guide your routines, and empower you to raise children who are not only healthy, but confident, compassionate, and ready to embrace the world. And in that transformation lies the true power of Spock's legacy, the quiet, profound realization that every day, every moment, every choice matters, and through them, we can change lives forever.